Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Two Idiots Reading Comics. This week's episode 123. We get to talk about Black Panther this week. As always, go tell your friends, your family, anyone who wants to listen to Two Idiots Read Comics. You can check us out anywhere on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And, of course, anywhere that you get your podcasts. And as always, let's get into it.
And welcome to the best damn book club on the internet. I just got really distracted. You left your Oreo on the table.
I did, and you left Batman on the
Batman is on the table. We're not talking about Batman today. My name's Ron Thomas. That's David Carter. This is Two Idiots Reading Comics. We're easily distracted. You just ate that cookie.
I did. I am.
Okay. Today we're talking about Black Panther. I forgot what the title of the story arc is.
A Nation Under Our Feet.
Okay.
Book 1.
Gotcha. I Googled this one, and it said it was the best modern-day jumping on point. But before we get to that, Black Panther the movie.
Okay.
Haven't seen it yet.
Have not.
Hasn't come out yet in our timeline.
Correct.
It is October...
14th.
Nope. 14th, yeah.
Yeah.
In our timeline right now. Expectations?
Well, the last two movies are any count. I'm scared.
I don't think I am scared about this one. Because they cannot mess this one up.
If they fuck this up, I think we will then have to consider Marvel in the tier of DC right now.
I don't think it's that bad.
If they fuck this up with Chadwick Boseman being dead, honoring him in his, pretty much giving him a funeral, giving him a Wakandan funeral in the movie.
Yeah.
If this doesn't hit, I am really worried about the future of the MCU.
I'm just going to say, and this might be politically incorrect, this might be wrong, I might be talking about my ass, I might get canceled. Who knows? No one watches the show, though.
Yeah.
I remember going to the first Black Panther movie, just as a Marvel fan, and people, African-American people or black people, whichever you prefer, showed up wearing, like, African clothes, like traditional African clothes and stuff. And that's when I first realized, I was like, oh, this movie is way more than just a Black Panther movie.
Oh, yeah. And
this
there was
is
definitely
like
tones in the movie that
I was like, oh, this is
portrayed
like,
that.
and you look and it's like, there's only like 3 white people in this movie.
Yeah.
And Chadwick Boseman, and it was very good, and
Oh, man.
you can't mess up honoring him, and then like also, not only are you just going to have the Marvel fans who have been kind of bitchy and pissy lately anyways, you're going to have Black Twitter mad at you.
You
can't do that.
You can't have Black Twitter mad at you. Now, in saying that, the only person that we've lost is Chadwick Boseman. The rest of the cast, the rest of the cast that we still love, the Queen, Shuri, his love interest, and man, I knew I was going to forget how to say it. The female guard.
The sword chick from Walking Dead. I can't suddenly remember her name.
Yeah. We still get all of them.
Yeah.
So they should be able to still carry the movie. They carried the
I'm a cold bitch right now.
They carried the last movie. Not carried the last movie, but they were very instrumental in the last movie.
Yeah.
And even in Civil War and in Infinity War, they were big parts of it.
Mm.
And so, yes, it sucks that we won't have Chadwick Boseman back.
Sucks a lot.
It does sucks a lot because that man was good.
Kind of sad we're not recasting. I heard this from other black nerd culture people, and they're like, T'Challa is too important of a character not to recast, but
all right,
I guess we have to trust Marvel.
I agree with that. T'Challa will need to be recast, and there needs to be a new T'Challa.
I don't think they are.
I think for at least this movie, and maybe one more, or for this phase of phase 4, 5, whatever we're in, they will not recast T'Challa.
Yeah.
They will honor Chadwick Boseman's death.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they're going to make Shuri Black Panther.
Which I wasn't for until I found out in this comic. Oh, she's been.
Oh, I knew
she's been the queen
yeah,
before.
I knew she had
I
been.
did not know
yeah.
that. I thought it was just people being like, "Oh, Shuri."
They will honor her. They will honor him by
Mm-hmm.
not recasting him so quickly.
Yeah.
Giving him a funeral. In Phase 5, when the multiverses collide.
Secret Invasion.
Whatever the fuck
Wars.
they're going to be, that whatever they do that makes
Yeah.
the world do whatever they want to do. They will then give us the new T'Challa from Earth 677 or some shit.
Okay.
And that's how they will reintroduce their new T'Challa.
I guess I could be down for that.
Because
I don't know. I just like
as big of a presence that Chadwick Boseman had, they have to give him his. For some reason, he just has a presence as a character.
just the people that he's played in his career.
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson, the first black baseball player. T'Challa. I think he played James Brown in that movie.
In which movie?
The one about James Brown, the biopic.
Oh yeah.
And then a bunch
Was
of
that the
others.
jazz? Was that the jazz movie?
That was the Get Down guy. I would play his songs for you, and you'd instantly know.
There was a jazz movie that he was in, real
yeah,
close
yeah.
to his death. That like when he was in the movie, you could tell like, okay, something doesn't seem right. It was
I don't
with
think
a
that
very
was
older black woman.
I don't think it was. I think that was just.
It may not have been a jazz movie, but
I don't think that was about any particular person. I think it was just
he and a very iconic black woman that I, of course, cannot remember her name.
Yeah. I never saw that movie.
And that was very close to the time of his death.
Yeah.
And like when they filmed it, he was dead.
I mean, he just went through that and didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, he was like Endgame, Infinity War.
Yeah.
All of it was he was in the middle of his
Cancer.
treatments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know why I guess because the way they did his movies and the way they did his character, he only had one movie.
Yeah.
But he was in Civil War, Infinity, and Endgame.
Yeah.
So he's in 3 others.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I guess it's kind of like Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Yeah.
They were always there.
Yeah.
Hawkeye and Black Widow took way too long to get her own movie.
I mean, he was introduced in Civil War.
Right.
Then they had Black Panther.
Right.
Then everybody
Endgame,
was in.
Then everybody got
Infinity War and
ghosted.
Endgame.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, he's like I said, stakes are high with this one. You're gonna mess this one up. You're gonna have a lot more than just the angry Marvel fans.
I definitely agree with that, and I'm hoping that.
And I'm looking forward to Namor.
Yes,
the first mutant,
and we get the first mutant, which proves, of course, we've already
not the first one they've introduced, but he's in the comics canon. He's the first mutant.
Who's the first one they introduced in them?
Kamala Khan. They changed her from in the comics. She was what's the one they tried to do when they weren't sure they were getting the X-Men rights back? Inhuman.
Oh.
Comic books, she's an Inhuman. Here they made her a mutant in the MCU.
When did they do that? What did she play in the what movie?
She was in the show.
Inhuman?
Miss Marvel.
Oh.
Disney Plus.
That's right.
You didn't watch it.
What, the Inhumans?
No, Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Oh, sorry, no. Now, I also saw
Actually, wasn't bad.
Now, I also saw a thing where, Doctor Strange, the girl, the one that can make the stars, America Chavez. I also saw a thing where like she was supposed to be a mutant too, or is that just?
I'm not sure. Maybe. I can't remember.
Either way, we're starting to finally get mutants added. It's not the ones that we thought we would get to start.
Sounds like we're not getting X-Men for a long time.
Dude, there's talk that we may not see like X-Men until like 2025.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And
like Fantastic Four will come out first.
Yeah.
Then we'll start seeing
I had
X-Men.
a bunch of like stuff get pushed back recently. Like Blade got pushed back, which pisses me off.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I was really
dude, that could have been your
if I'd
could have been your personal recommendation. Did you watch that Werewolf by Night?
I have not.
That's what we should have watched while you were eating dinner.
My wife wouldn't watch that with me.
Oh, I don't know why. That's a delight.
Yeah. It looked cool. When I saw the trailer for it, it was like, the fuck is this?
It's good.
And then I was like...
It sets up Midnight Sun. Or not. It gives character for Midnight Suns if they were going to do it.
Sun?
It's their, like, monster hunting team. It's like their...
Ooh. Like Dark Justice?
Close, yeah, it's like their Dark Justice League. But they don't get, obviously, as dark because it's Marvel.
We've gotten to see a little bit of She-Hulk. You watched the season finale. I haven't watched the season finale yet.
I've watched it all the way through.
At the time of recording this. Are we going to get a good representation of the Marvel Suicide Squad in this Thunderbolts? Because I know they've introduced one of the characters that are supposed to be in Thunderbolts. Abomination.
I mean, Abomination's in it. That's about it.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought they were going to kind of... When they introduced him, I thought they were going to be a little more forward about the Thunderbolts coming. Oh, okay. Oh, shit. Oh, well.
I mean, the post-credit scene for She-Hulk was... He ends up going back to prison.
Of course.
I'll say that.
Knew that was coming. I mean, that's been... They've been wanting that one for the beginning.
The post-credits season is Wong comes and gets him out. So...
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Was Wong... the way Wong said he got him to prove that he was Sorcerer Supreme seemed odd.
I don't know.
Okay.
That was the problem with week to week. I forgot the first one.
I don't know, that whole show, I want it to be good because we enjoyed the first half of the comic that we read.
I don't think you've seen Legally Blonde enough to enjoy the show.
I know I have seen Legally Blonde, but not enough.
You haven't?
It's fun. I do. I
have an older sister. We watched it a lot.
See, I don't have a younger sister.
She got to pick the TV most of the time.
Yeah.
Because we'd have to pick back and forth. I would pick a 30-minute show to watch.
And then
she would pick a movie
every
time.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of Mean Girls and a lot of Legally Blonde.
Mean Girls hits.
Mean Girls
That's
funny.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good. I don't know. If this sucks though, there's going to be a lot of blowback on the MCU, and
I don't think they care anymore.
You're
talking about Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther.
I thought you were talking about She-Hulk.
Oh, She-Hulk. No, that
you
was
haven't seen the ending. I don't think they care.
Yeah, that was literally just kind of they had fun and they wanted to produce a movie to give another female character.
I think She-Hulk was literally, and it's okay, was not made for the super geeky dudes out there. So
of course, but they're also trying to get more girls and more young the younger audience back hooked on the Marvel cartoon or not cartoons,
specifically females.
Yes,
which I mean the comics have been trying to do that for years. So.
Of course, and it's kind of the whole point of Captain Marvel before Black Widow.
Yeah,
which still is wrong. Black Widow should have had a movie first.
Yeah,
Scarlett Johansson should have been done right.
Yeah,
and it still got screwed because of COVID, and they sent it to Disney Plus, and she didn't get paid.
It was not in her contract,
and she didn't get fucking paid.
What she should have been paid.
Yeah.
Although I went to see it in theaters.
Oh, I did too.
Okay.
I did too.
Yeah.
We all did.
Most people did not.
Oh, really? Wait, Black Widow or Captain Marvel?
Black Widow, because in her contract she got a portion of the ticket sales.
Correct.
She did not get a portion of the streaming.
Correct.
So when everybody paid to see it a week early,
she
didn't get none of that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. We've just Thor and Doctor Strange.
Not great.
I don't know. Now I'm wondering, in my own personal head theories, are they setting up these older characters for failure so that when they bring on a younger cast, you root for them more?
I don't think they set people up for failure.
That they set them up for failure, but they're not putting their whole hearts into a Chris Hemsworth that maybe has 2 movies left. Or
I think that was
Benedict Cumberbatch that has maybe a movie left.
Oh no, he's like going forward. He's gonna be like the Tony Stark.
Yikes! I don't know how I feel about that, especially with this most recent movie.
I think they, especially in the early days, when a creative person didn't agree with how they wanted to take the direction, especially directors, they would say, "All right, sorry, that's not what we want to do. So, hit the road." I mean, Ant-Man had how many directors? The first one, and
too many.
For whatever reason, I think they started to say, let them tell their story and stuff, and as long as they hit these certain things, that's okay. And I'm just like, for the most part, obviously you have to update certain things. For the most part, especially in the Thor, that story should have already been written, because that was comic book was all. I understand
that comic book was literally your script.
Understand you couldn't put. It may have been super confusing to put young Thor and old Thor in there, but I mean, we literally just came off a time traveling movie.
Exactly.
In Endgame.
Right.
I think it could have worked out. Or at the worst, or at the best, like worst case scenario, at least gotten gore right. So
they could have gotten so many things right.
Yeah.
And still kept the theming that they wanted.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem. That whole movie just didn't seem right.
Yeah.
And again, Doctor Strange didn't seem. It seemed choppy.
Both
have just seemed too choppy.
That one just seemed like they were trying to over-promise and under-deliver. Like, not trying to. They over-promised and
under-delivered.
And they were coming off the heels of Spider-Man. They're like, fuck, how are we going to top this?
Right.
When they shouldn't have tried to top it.
They shouldn't have top it. They just needed another
have
movie.
A good story and actually go to more than 3 universes in the Multiverse of Madness.
Well, they did. They just didn't stay in them.
True.
And then also the whole idea of, if we like the actor or actress enough, we'll let them play their alter egos.
Yeah.
But if they're not that great, we'll make 6 or 7 different ones.
Yeah.
So it's like, why
can't we have consistent rules?
Just pick one. Like, either they're all the same character, actor or actress, or they're all different.
I don't know.
Because now you sit here like with the guy that played Mr. Fantastic. It's like, does he want to come back?
I think he wants to come back.
Did he just do it for fan service?
Yeah.
And
because fans have casted him as Mr. Fantastic on Twitter forever.
And so do we say he is our Mr. Fantastic and we use him for all Mr. Fantastics? Or just because he doesn't want to do it, we just cast 6 or 7 different ones for the multiverse?
I don't know. But I don't want this to turn into an MCU bashing fest. But they cannot mess up Black Panther.
No, they can't. They cannot. If they do, it's fucked.
Yeah. Now to this book.
Now, do you remember? This came out in 2016, the first issue.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing this on the shelf when we were in our comic book store?
Yeah.
All right. Because when you sent me this, I was like, oh my God, I recognize that cover.
Yeah.
Because I almost started buying that run.
Uh-huh.
When they're in the middle of our heyday of having too many comics in our pull list at one time. I almost started buying this when we were in the middle of that. And I didn't because, one, we failed. We lost our box shortly thereafter. But I wanted to read this back then.
Okay.
Because especially it was the number one, and I was getting into comics and wanted ones and shit. But
you want to go ahead and credit people?
Yeah.
Because I've got thoughts, but not in a bad way.
Okay. So, apologize for any names I butcher, as always.
Mess up a lot of these.
Our writer is Ta-Nehisi, Ta-Nehisi, Coates. Artist, Brian Stelfreeze. Color artist, Laura Martin. Letterers, VC's Joe Sabino. And then we've got some logos, assistants, and editors, and executive editors. So we really only got 4 main titles. And again, sorry to the writer for not knowing how to pronounce your name correctly.
Yeah.
I'll let you kick this one off.
Okay. two thoughts to begin with. I feel like they did this reboot and changed author or writers like right in the heart of someone's storyline.
You talking about like they created this book one with a new writer and stopped the previous story?
Yeah, it feels like if you're writer A, I
Yeah.
feel like you were writing and you were maybe 4 issues into like a 6 or 7 issue story arc. And then I feel like writer B, who is this guy, came in. I don't know if that's true, but that's what it feels like. He comes in and is just like, we're doing a reboot. We need new number ones.
Yeah. Now this was,
do your best.
If I remember right, this was during the heart of DC's reboot
and Marvel's reboot.
And Marvel's
Marvel rebooted like
their
2-3 years in a
initial
row.
Reboot. Like, hey, we are kind of hurting right now. Let's kick shit off.
Yeah, I don't know if this is Marvel now, but it was around that time.
Yeah.
But that's what it felt like. That being said, I do think he did a good recovery job. My only issue is the info dump we got in issue 4 that explained everything.
Yeah.
And like each angle of like who's coming after T'Challa.
Yeah.
What's going on with
Shuri.
What has happened to lead up to all this?
Yeah. Why Wakanda's in such turmoil.
Yeah. That info dump I needed in issue 1. Because after that issue dump, it literally seems like a Game of Thrones set in Wakanda.
Yes.
Which I am completely here for.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, we start this whole volume 1 off with
they put you in the middle of
like Black Panther, like T'Challa almost. And his guards are literally fighting Wakandans in the mines.
Yeah. Because
and you have no idea why.
He supposedly went to like go and talk to the mound, I guess is where all the vibranium comes from, and the village that is there feels underappreciated, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
And they were letting it be known, and then I guess the lady who can control people's minds and hearts stuff got them to attack and all that other stuff. And then you have the king like fighting off his own subjects, which is not a good look.
And we also have a king that we have a T'Challa Black Panther that doesn't want to be king.
Yeah.
Which is completely different than the show.
Yeah.
And the movies that we've gotten with our current MCU.
Yeah.
Where T'Challa wants to be the ruler. He wants to be the loved. He wants to be the power of Wakanda.
Yeah.
And this T'Challa just seems
lost.
I'm trying to fix a problem. Like,
he seems lost. Like he doesn't know what's going on.
I disappeared to fight the greater evil of the world. I have fought off Thanos. I have fought off all the evil Namor and Doom, apparently.
Dr. Doom.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
I have literally fought off the worst of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have to come back to a country that's
kind of
failing.
Yeah.
With a queen that just all of a sudden disappeared.
Although
Shuri, which he had,
has the body,
right?
But I guess her soul is somewhere else.
Yeah, it was a weird, like she's in a dream world almost. It just took a minute to get there.
Yeah.
And
it's literally 3 issues of me
turmoil.
Going, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, what's happened? Where are we? Like,
you have all these different cities in Wakanda that I don't know and
do not match with the movie.
Don't have a map until the very end.
Yeah, that was.
And I don't know. But now that we do have the info dump, this legit could be like I almost want them not to team up the 2 women that are fighting in the stolen Wakandan armor,
which is really cool.
Who are
the angel armor or something?
Yeah, something like that. And it's like they're 2 dishonored. God, what is that guard's name?
Not Moulin Rouge. Go ahead.
If I could read it, I could pronounce it. Deo Milaje or something like. Some with a D and some with an M.
Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje, and they're kind of mad of how the women are being treated. And then you've got this guru or shaman type guy who feels like
Dora Milaje.
Yeah. You got this shaman guy who's got his own agenda.
Right. They want no
who
kings.
says he's a god or something,
right?
And that doesn't want king at all, and it should just be the different villages and towns and cities. And I don't think they should team them up because, like I said, you could legit have a Wakanda Game of Thrones on your hands, and then you also have the storyline of like whenever Shuri gets her soul back, she was queen.
She's now queen. Right. It's so now we have a king and a queen.
I mean, yeah, you could literally just throw in like 2 or 3 more villages, and then they all start fighting each other.
Right.
And then T'Challa's having to keep it all together.
Right.
It would be an awesome story.
When you finish this,
yeah,
would you have gone and picked up book 2, volume 2? Or is this one of those that's like, yeah, it was cool, but
if we weren't, most of the time when I read comics now, it's for the show.
Of course.
There are some other stuff that like I try to keep up with.
Yeah.
But I'll get into my shit list of why that's getting harder. After everything was finally explained, if I was doing singles, I would have kept it. If I would have even made it to issue 4. But by the nature of the way the show is and the fact that I'm gravitating more towards more collected versions, not a whole, like, I don't know if I'd go get volume 2.
I agree with that. And that's kind of the way I led at the end.
I think this is more of, I think I would find a YouTube video explaining the story arc.
I think so. And I don't know if I would have felt any better if issue 4 would have been issue 1.
I don't need...
Like if issue 4 had been issue 1, and then we would have carried the story.
I think it just works better if that info dump
yes,
goes into
info
issue
dump,
1.
yeah.
And then you have all the developments, because then it's like, oh, this guy's trying to do his plan over there.
Yeah.
And then but I can focus more on like, okay, this guy's plan, this is what he wants, this is what his his motive is.
Right.
This is what these people are fighting for, and this is how it all ties together. Instead, I spent 3 issues going, dude, what the fuck is going on?
Who's going where? What's happening?
And why do I care about these 2 women
Correct.
who stole
Just
armor?
One assassinated a corrupt motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then got broken out of jail.
Yeah.
And this queen that's
then you
not
find
T'Challa's mother.
These could all be potential threats to the throne.
Right.
I don't figure that out until issue 4. Now it's like, oh, fuck, now we're on.
It did, and also going on with the Dora Milaje that have left, and kind of the whole story to me seemed very choppy. Of there seems to be very large time jumps happening that they don't address. Like,
yes, and we all know you don't handle time jumps very well.
I don't very well, especially if they're not like.
Oh no.
Like all right.
Yeah.
Here's how long we have taken,
mm-hmm.
and the 2 women that the ex-Dora Milaje that have taken the suit. We jump from one episode where it's just the 2 of them. Then they liberate this village. They go and attack the white ape, which is the
which in the
I forgot their names.
In the MCU, they're good people. So
right,
I didn't know they were sitting there torturing women.
Right. So they go attack them, but come back to the women that they first liberated, and they're all dead except for this one woman.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, yes, we need an army. Now they have an army. And then
yeah, true.
It's just like, oh, we have an army now.
Yeah.
And it's also Dora Milaje that have left Wakanda and now joined them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not choppy.
No.
But there is pieces that it's like, all right.
You're asking a lot of the reader to
interpret things that have happened, and it's like, but you didn't really have to. Like, you've had plenty of time. Like, we didn't have to
Also, if you take your time, them trying to find an army could be a story arc or a different part of the story. Granted, the way most comics are nowadays, I don't think you have a whole bunch of time to get your whole story in. So.
And you also, like, we could have had 3 or 4 pages with the Dora Milaje or that group being grown. Instead, we got T'Challa and his stepmom sitting at a very nice table overlooking Wakanda, having an in-depth conversation about
I would be
some dude
shitting my pants.
Dude,
eating dinner out there.
his toes were hanging over the edge as he's just
Fuck
standing there.
that.
Now, did you notice that he always wore a suit? That his
Yeah,
suit's
he
not
kept
like
his
what
suit
we
underneath him.
that he's not. It's not like what we've gotten in the
It's not his
MCU.
nanotech suit. Yeah.
But they've got the weird like markings all over their faces now.
Yeah.
Which then
Which also does assume nanotech.
Right.
I don't know.
So that was kind of an interesting. Is he that scared?
Apparently needs to keep his guard up. So.
That's right. So he's terrified constantly of the threat that's coming. I don't know. It just. It was cool. It was hits and but there was a good chunk of misses going on too.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I'm excited though.
I am too. I'll go see it the weekend it comes out. November the 11th, I believe.
Yep.
And when that fucker drops, well, I'll be in theaters. Yeah. I'll have to go see this one in theaters.
I'm gonna say, and it's tough to get the Crocker family out there to the theater.
It is.
Yes.
But
that was
definitely a go and getter.
Yeah. I like this comic. It finally pulled together at the end.
It did.
I think it is a look up the story arc on YouTube type situation though.
Because I know that this you
just made me spend 3 issues trying to figure it out.
Right.
I needed an info dump way earlier. Which may have not been your fault, like we said. It seemed like they were in the middle of some type of story arc and this guy just got thrown to the wolves, but yeah.
And you definitely know that this shaman that has his powers that went to
he's a god.
That thinks he's a god that went to the Dora Milaje, he's going to betray him.
Oh, for sure.
Like, they have their idea of what they want as a new empire.
Yeah.
And he has a completely different idea.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he doesn't care what they think. He's just there to try to get an army.
Exactly.
Or a following enough to topple the kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
To then topple them. To then rule by fear.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I did... Now, what I did like was the fact that T'Challa wasn't wanting to be there.
Yeah,
that he was actually having to figure out.
Lecture, though, that his mom gave him, you said it might have been a different issue, different part, but where he's talking about how he given everything to Wakanda, and his mom has to go, no, you've had everything taken from you. You did not give them willingly, and these people will not love you until you willingly just give your entire self to Wakanda. He's like, you didn't want to lose your dad. You didn't want to lose all these things.
Right.
And he's like, that's why. And it's like, I don't know. It was just an interesting thing.
And then that's when they went down into the city with the folks. And then the bombs went off.
Yeah.
And it also, that was a weird sequence. It was like, okay, bombs are going off, but all of a sudden bombs hit T'Challa that then somehow
ricocheted
onto his mom.
And didn't kill her.
But because of him being close to her, it didn't kill her. It just hurt her.
The vibranium.
Yeah, the vibranium.
Or something.
Yeah. And I don't know if she might have been wearing a vibranium clothes. I
don't know.
That was an interest. But she didn't die, which, I mean, he picks up the body.
You would think every member of the royal family would be wearing some type of vibranium.
They would have to be.
Yeah.
But again, I definitely agree. This is an info dump on YouTube.
Yeah.
This is not a. Yeah, let's go pick up Volume 2. Let's go read Volume 2 real quick.
Yeah. But I'd see the potential, though. If you just make it Game of Thrones Wakanda, it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But now we've got shit lists.
No. Is it shit list?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is shit list.
Yeah. You got one?
Not really.
Yeah, you're just all happy to enjoy yourself and be a dad.
I mean, I have been. I mean, so it's going to kind of be you lead it, and I'll kind of just maybe tether off of you.
Oh, mine, honestly, right now is just I'm super frustrated with my local comic book store.
Jesus.
I don't know. It's just like appreciate a good comic book store when you get one, because if it goes away and you're stuck going to a different one,
Yeah.
it can be a bad time. And honestly, it's just like they can't even. I'm pretty sure they're not getting my pull list right, or I'm not getting all the books that are supposed to be on my pull list.
I've kind of ran into that problem with mine here.
Yes, and
here
it
in
just
town,
seems
too.
like something so simple.
Like it's literally in a computer that.
Now, I know. I think he said he had some issues with the distributor, but then and so I gave him some leeway. I was like, yeah, of course, whatever.
Okay. Then can I
And
get that issue?
yeah,
Later.
and I assumed that would happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's also like I work out of town, so I don't get to go every single Wednesday.
Right.
But I try to go at least twice a month. That way, they're not sitting there waiting for my money and stuff like that. But there is stuff that I know I had not gotten.
Yeah.
And now I have like missing issues and stuff. It just seems so simple. Like the pull list is like the basic minimum thing you should do. And then you go into the fact that it's a very tight squeeze in there. I'm a big dude.
Have they still not moved their
It's
stuff around? Like
slowly getting better, but even where they
it's
put
been
the
3
even where they
years
put
now.
the bookshelves, like the bookshelves are kind of close together, and it's just like it's hard to move in there. Let alone if there's more people in there.
Right.
And then I don't know. Sometimes the owner's very negative. Other times he's extremely happy to be there. I don't know. But it's just kind of frustrating, and it's kind of making me wanting to go to digital singles because I don't care about the collectivity. If I have the option to have it in paper, I of course would do that. Because as soon as Amazon decides they don't want to be in the comics business anymore, there go all my digital comics. But until that happens, if you can't get the basic stuff right, and I'm not comfortable going there, I'm not having a good time, I will happily just turn my iPad into a comic book library. So
I definitely agree, and I think mine's just going to kind of be piggybacking off of yours. Is the store we've enjoyed going to here near my house is they used to be like you said, like they used to be happy. Like you go in there, it's like, hey man, what you got?
And I understand,
I've got your books.
like people can have bad days at work. I have bad days at work.
Oh yeah,
but every time, and then you're not getting my order right, and then and this is my fault. I have a giant stack of unread stuff. I have to go track down. Like,
now
I have this issue?
I missed X, Y,
Yeah.
Like I said, like our comic book, like my comic store that I go to, it's like I had a list of like 3 Star Wars that were on there, the Berserker, and crossover, and the Ninja Turtles Ronin that was happening. I got 2 of the Ninja Turtles. I had to pick up the 3rd off the shelf for myself. Never got 4 and 5 because and then I forgot about them. And then now I'm going back. It's like, oh shit, I don't even have the first issues of 4 and 5. Like first release. And then I'd get no Star Wars anymore.
That's like Berserker. I'm pretty sure I've told them at least twice that, hey, can we put Berserker on my pull list?
Yeah.
And I see the new issue over there on the shelf. And then I get my pull list not in there. And now that I went out of town, like I'm pretty sure I'm missing like
now you're back. Now
I'm probably missing half the series.
Right. Now you're back behind. And it just, and like you said, it's like when I go to my place, it's like some days, and there's like 4 or 5 people behind the register.
Yeah.
And like all 4 or 5 of them don't even want to ring you up some days.
Yeah.
And it's not like one person's not feeling it. It's like all 4 are like,
they're all having a conversation.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you want to check out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like 3, 4 comics here that I would like to purchase. I mean, I want to spend my money with you. And they're like, oh, all right, price is X.
Yeah.
And then just literally, you want a bag? Yeah, I'd like bag and boards. Oh, bag and boards would be extra.
No,
it's like
that's, I mean, I understand it's tough times for comic book industry, but daggum.
We definitely got spoiled with Kingdom Comics.
Yes.
That RIP is no longer around.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the other ones that we're not talking about because I don't. As much as they annoy, I get frustrated with them.
We're still gonna go.
Yeah, like I want.
I'll go
comic
pull
book
it off the
stores
list.
to-
I'll go
yeah.
get my. I'll go pick up the
the
Black Series collectibles I want to get.
dangerously close to just going all digital though, and then the ones I want in omnibus or deluxe hard copy and stuff like that, or absolute edition, I'll get those. But
if you can find them in the store,
well, yeah,
you're pretty much gonna have to order them off Amazon.
Yeah, or
off some other website.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, if I had the capital and resources to start my own comic book shop and do it the way I know it can be done,
yeah,
I would do it in a heartbeat because I would love to do that.
But
sadly, I don't have the money to start my own.
And sadly, you kind of sit there and go, okay, fine. Let's build our comic book store. Let's create it the way we want it. And then you hit these hard times. 2021, early 21, literally all comic books were postponed for 4 months.
Yeah.
Because no one could get them.
Mm-hmm.
They literally could not be shipped.
Yeah.
And so there's 4 months that people don't come in or come in wanting their stuff and like, we didn't get it.
Yeah.
So now after 4 months, all that stuff's in.
Yeah.
Now no one's coming in.
Yeah.
And okay, so now
and
there's this
then are you
backlog.
gonna ask them to pay a ridiculous amount
for now 5 issues.
Yeah.
To catch back up.
Yeah.
Or did those 5 issues just disappear? And so do those customers.
Yeah.
And then I do see where you get pissed off and upset. It's like, well, why do we care? Like, it just seems like, and definitely the hardback comic, the paper comics, sadly, are dying.
Yeah.
And if we have paper comics in the next 10 years, I will be shocked.
Yeah.
Other than deluxe editions and collected editions and stuff like that, but single trade issues, if we still are receiving those in 10 years, I will be surprised.
Yeah.
Just the way that, okay, well, fine, we don't have to mail it. We don't have to produce it. We just generate it, put it on the internet.
Yeah.
Every couple months we create
if it
one.
sells well,
then we'll create a volume, create collected editions, and then y'all can go have fun picking it up.
Yeah. Especially with parent companies getting bought out, and then everybody's like, why are we doing this? And
like, I've got a small comic book shop in town, like a mile from my office, that I would love to go buy from him.
Really?
You literally walk in his store, he's got some really cool knickknacks on the wall, like $200 sculptures and toy, like the figurines and shit. And then his comics are all back issue.
Yeah.
He has maybe the 10 hottest comics current on the wall. And then you can ask him if he could get Berserker, or he'll order you that
and stuff. Yeah.
And it's going to cost a couple dollars more because he's specially ordering it. He's just ordering it to fill boxes. Yeah. And it's like, okay, do I really want to go to him? And yes, I would like to spend it with him. He's a lot smaller and all, but he's having to order these small amounts. And if it messes up and he doesn't receive his 2 copies because the bulk order for the 1,000 needs to go to somebody else.
Or if the customer doesn't come in that week.
Right. It's like, oh, well, all that's gone.
Yeah.
Now it's got to go in a box, and that's $5 he's lost.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I feel your pain on that one.
I do think, like, I know a bunch are shutting down. I do think there are ways you can adapt and do cool stuff to make it work. I just you look at comic book Twitter, most of us aren't great with change. So
no, but then you go to these big box stores like Books A Million or Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
And those sons of bitches
are shrinking.
Like the DC and Marvel section total might have 50 total collected editions on the shelf.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I think you're insane if you're opening up a comic book store nowadays and don't have At least
Oh,
a small
and
manga section.
Manga
Yeah.
is literally maybe 500
Yeah.
copies of manga. Which,
and you're already behind because all those kids know they can go to big box stores to get it. Now we got to get them, go to the comic book store to get them.
Right. Like we can walk into Books
Yeah.
A Million right now and you can find issue 1
Oh, yeah.
of whatever manga you want, but you couldn't go to a local comic book store and find that same series.
For whatever reason, but a lot of American comic book fans still don't respect manga, which manga's whipping their ass, so I don't know.
We started reading some manga on here, and I've really gotten into manga.
Yeah, so that's one. I mean, I could literally sit down and map out a store how I see it in my head.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Two Idiots comic book store, I could map it out in my head right now.
Of course.
And I think there are things we could do and ways to improve of going to both good and bad comic book stores in our past. And I think we could come up with a successful one.
We could.
Neither of us just have the capital.
Well, there's no capital. We have no capital. And again, who's going to invest in?
Exactly.
And if, we don't have the capital, we have this great idea, but the way the comic book industry is who's going to invest in that idea?
Just us. Just us.
Right. That's what I mean. Is like everyone in the industry understands, like, if you have a traditional comic book store, you're surviving on the skin of your teeth.
Yeah.
And you have transitioned to gaming, to board games, tabletop games. That way you can make your money on these really expensive sets that take care of the comics that don't sell.
Yeah.
That kind of keeps you at par.
Yeah.
But doesn't make you money. It just keeps you running.
Are also other things you could do. Like, I think you need to have like an event, not like an event space, but like an area where you could almost like adjacent to the comic book store. The way I see it in my head is, how we always talked about you should have a cafe.
Correct.
Kind of like where you walk.
Yeah.
What if you had a stage in the cafe? And then you already have the seating because of the cafe. You put out some more chairs, and then you could have stuff where you have like artists who come and talk,
pitch
stuff like
ideas.
that. Yeah, or no, just like, hey, Scott Snyder, we saw where you were in town. Would you like to come speak at, or do a meet and greet or autograph signing? You could have a local artist meetup where it's like, hey, writers and artists, every first Monday night of the month is artist meetup, and you can come do some pitch your ideas, show off your work, and get to know each other, and hopefully network, and you start working on your own stuff. We talked about having a Wednesday live YouTube kind of radio show.
Yeah.
Where I forgot what we called it. But it's basically like we take like the craziness of sports talk radio and the Paul Feinbaum show and turn it into the crazy people coming to pick up their comic books on Wednesdays. And we basically do like a comic book and pop culture news show, but then also like people walking in to get their pull lists and stuff like that. They can come way in and be like our callers and stuff like that. And then you also have the cafe for business, and then you can do you can have live podcasts and stuff there, and other stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. It's like there needs to be a melding of worlds.
Yeah,
it's like Barnes and Noble.
You almost need to make it like a nerd utopia, kind of.
Barnes and Noble and Books A Million seem to be trying to incorporate, like, each of them have like a coffee shop in there.
Yeah.
But it's also it's kind of just there.
Yeah, they don't.
Like, you want coffee? Go get your coffee.
Yeah.
But if you want a book, go get your book. It's not one world.
Yeah.
It's like, if you want coffee, you go get coffee and you leave. You want a book, you get a book, you leave.
Yeah.
And there doesn't seem to be a melding of worlds.
No.
It's just kind of there, and there needs to be a kind of a new resurgence of comic book shops.
Yeah.
And also, hell, my big comic book shop I go to, the little one I go to, and the one you talk about are also something I've been noticing is they just seem to be junk's not the right word, but it almost seems like they've just become junk stores. Like you just walk in and it's like, oh, here's a bunch of shit. Have fun.
Yeah.
If you
see something you like, let me know.
Yeah, let me know. Like there doesn't seem to be any more organization other than just, oh yeah, here's the alphabetical order. If you want something from Star Wars, it's in S to R, or S to T. Yeah. Go have fun. It just seems like, oh yeah, here.
Yeah.
Not any organization or any fun.
Yeah, organization's big, and I understand it's a hard one to keep on top of,
especially with that many comics.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a big deal.
But when you go to a series and it's got, say, the Darth Vader's 2015 run with Charles Soule, and you go to that section to look for that series, and there's 2 comics in there, issue 7 and issue 24.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, I mean, I know you might not have the back order, but can y'all get me issues 8 to 12? Or
that's a distributor thing. I don't know how that all works, but
at the same time, why even put it in there if you have 2?
Someone might be looking for issue 24.
But you know what I mean. It just.
We also talked about that. I think there needs to be a whole website dedicated to back issues, and there's not.
And there's not. They're like, it is so hard to go just find like one issue to finish a collection. Like,
and I would almost do it like
not even for money, just
like there's a website called TCG Player for like playing card games.
Yeah.
Like Magic and Pokemon, all that. And it's basically like an Amazon for trading cards. And it's like each store can list, hey, I have this, and I have this, and I have this. And literally just like you can put it all in one cart, and you'll end up with like 5 or 6 packages.
Yeah.
But you can all check it out in one place. Out in one place.
Right.
I need to do something like that with back issues.
And then that's like, I've got the Rebels run. Man, I always forget his name. It's from the Star Wars Rebels. It's the Jedi that works with Harrison Dula. It's his like backstory, like from Order 66 on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm missing like, I've got like issue 1, missing issue 2, got issue 3, missing issue 5, 6, and 7. And it's like I've always tried to go find them just to finish the collection. Not that I want to sell it or anything like that, but just I have everything but like 4 or 5 issues.
Yeah.
And
the only place I semi know where to look is you can go on what's the Midtown Comics, the big one in New York.
Right.
You can search for back orders there, or back issues there.
But then there's a $6 charge.
Yeah. And it's shipping all the way from New York.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, Eris Keonis signed like 2 of his paper trade, like his collected edition, and stuck them back on the shelf.
Oh, that's cool.
And put it on Instagram and said, hey guys, I just signed my comic. You first one to come find it, you get it.
Yeah.
For book price.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh man.
In
Texas. Because he was up there for Comic-Con. It was just like, he was up there for Comic-Con. I was just like, oh. Yeah. Like, shit like that's cool. Like an artist just walked in, signed his book.
Exactly. Like,
put it back on the shelf and said, hey, you're the first one to find it. You get a signed comic for the price of the comic. Yeah. No extra fee, no additional shit. Like gimmicky shit. Like, it's just fun.
Yeah. I don't know. But if someone wants to invest in us, I think we could run a very good comic book store.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Might not be great podcasters, but we'll figure out how to run business.
Yeah. Also, I think every comic book store needs a YouTube channel.
I don't know if every one of them needs it, but
yeah, a lot of them will end up getting canceled. But I don't know. There's a lot of way to diversify your money, and
there needs to be some life.
They come for comics and stay for a lot of other stuff. You got to create a community too.
There needs to be definitely some life blown back into the comic book industry.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my shit list. I think Davis piggybacked off of it.
Piggybacking with you.
But yeah, doesn't get better soon. I think I'm just switching to all digital.
That's what I've done.
Yeah.
I've got like 2 that are pulling, but oh well.
Yeah. Well, next week, Scott Pilgrim.
Woohoo!
Volume 5. Looking forward to it.
Yes, it's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one next week.
Bye.
Bye.